Hey guys, it's Granger Smith. This is the Granger Smith Podcast, Episode 4. I wanted to change pace a little bit today. I wanted to give you a different perspective, something that I'm deathly afraid of on the road. What could that be? Here it is on Episode 4. Today brings me to the Missouri State Fair. We're in Sedalia, Missouri. Beautiful, warm, blue sky day here in Missouri. This fair has been around since 1901, and so it's got a lot of tradition. It's got a huge grandstand, old school fair. Should be a really good day and a really good concert. Chris Lane is playing the show with us tonight. Love Chris Lane and his band and crew. We get along really well. And so that just about sets the scene. Here I am, the back of my bus, Wildflower, looking out the window, doing another podcast. And this one is going to be interesting, a fun one. This is my greatest fear on the road. It's something I'll do whatever I can to avoid it. It is the one thing that could completely shut me down. It's the one thing that stops me from playing a show. It's happened to me a few times. I'll tell those stories. It's getting injured on Episode 4. I want to give a shout out to State Fair, Community College, Roadrunners. It's a baseball team. Really good guys. I met them this morning at the gym. We got a workout together. There's about 4, 5, 6 of us that work out every single day, religiously. It's very important to me. Eating right on the road, staying in shape. These are all things that are very important to me because they affect my ability to be on my A game, to work my best on stage, to have the best brain power to write songs during the day. I write songs only on tour, on the road. And I can't waste any of those days because I'm too tired or too sore or sick or have strep throat or allergies. I need to do everything I can to avoid all those problems. I can't afford to not be at my best every day. Right? I only have a decade left max of touring. I hope, if I'm lucky. And I need to use those 10 years to the very best of my ability. Not I was sick most of my music career, or I'd struggled with allergies every day, or I was constantly sore. So how could I prevent those things from happening? Well, it's having some kind of regimen, some kind of routine on the road. And it's definitely not sleeping. I don't get much of that. I get 5 or 6 hours. And out of those 5 or 6 hours, I'm tossing and turning, bouncing down the interstate, going 80 miles an hour. So why am I so fearful of these things? Why am I so mindful of these things? Because I've been on the downside of it. Yes, many times. Or at least a handful of times. So let me talk about that. We just finished sound check here at the Missouri State Fair, and the stage is positioned facing the grandstand, and the grandstand is for a dirt track. So the stage is right behind the track, and that's where the people stand on the track. We play a lot of dirt track shows that are dog racing, horse racing, car racing, as today. But it's fun. Can you imagine a better place for country music than a 100-year-old fair with a band playing over a dirt track into the grandstands? That's country. Country music has definitely gotten the best of me a few times, and that's when I've gotten hurt on the stage. That sounds crazy, but it's starting to add up for me, and these stories are worth telling. They were horrible, all of them at the time, but they make really good podcast material. The first time this happened was in 2013, College Station, Texas, a venue called Hurricane Harry's. Let me set the scene for you. Anytime we go back to play College Station, Texas, it's like a hometown show for me, so I feel like I got to be at my best. Better than my best. I feel like I have to convince all these people, look how far I've come. You're not going to believe the kind of show I could do now. So I'm over the top. Super dynamic, over-engaging. I want to put on the best show I can. One of the reasons I remember that night is because that was the first time I met Johnny Manziel. Remember him?
For the redshirt freshman, Johnny Manziel. Manziel trying to spin out of traffic there. Nearly caught from behind. Makes the throw for another highlight kind of touchdown.
So he's standing side stage watching the show along with several other of the football players. And as if I needed any more reason to go all out, there's that. So it's a great turnout. The crowd is rocking. At the very end of the show, I come out as Earl Dibbles Jr. If you haven't seen that or don't know about that, that's another episode, another podcast for another time. But it's essentially the encore of the show. I come out, overalls on, it's the ultra redneck, Earl Dibbles Jr. He plays the song. At the very end, I feel like I need to get down off the stage and give some high fives, shake some hands. I mean, the people are crazy, and I want to get down amongst them and feel that energy. So I jump off the stage. I start on the right. I work down left. I'm slapping hands, fist bumping, feeling like a rock star. And when I get to the end, I need to make a left turn, and there's some stairs there right by our monitor console. I need to go up those stairs and go back and finish the last little piece of the song. So when I get to the stairs, I give my last little fist bump on the right, and I take a left, and I'm sprinting up these stairs. And without looking, I don't notice that there is a speaker hanging low, a giant speaker. It's one of the main speakers of the PA. All I really know after that is I hit that speaker right dead center of my forehead. And it felt like I got hit by a truck, which is probably similar impact. But, you get that, when you hit your head so hard and you taste metallic in your mouth. So, I get that weird metallic taste, and of course I'm seeing stars and dizzy and a little bit lightheaded. But all that being said, I've got a show to play. The crowd's still amped up. So I shake it off. I'm not one to get embarrassed that easy. So I go back like it's, no big deal. But as I run to the center of the stage and turn to face the crowd, instead of being all jazzed up and excited like they have been, now there's a different look amongst the crowd, and it's this look of horror. There's wide eyes, jaws dropped, and I'm like, man, what is going on? What happened to change the crowd so drastically? And that's when I started feeling drips down the tip of my nose, down off my mouth, off my chin, and it's blood. I'm just gushing blood. My face is completely covered in blood. And I had ripped a gash in my forehead. I hit the speaker right on the edge of it, on the corner, the sharp edge of it, and it just blunt trauma split open the skin on the front of my forehead, and your forehead bleeds like crazy when you cut it. So it was just uncontrollable blood. I look over to the right, and there's Johnny Manziel and my brother and my sound engineer, and all of them are saying, they're holding towels, right? And they're saying, come on, get off the stage, quit playing. So I, put my hand in the air, do a little bow, made sure that I got a picture of that, which I do. I love the picture that I got from that moment. And then I ran off the stage. I remember asking some of the players, I said, you guys are football players. I'm sure you deal with this all the time. And they were like, not like that, man. Your head is ripped open. I mean, it was about a 4-inch wide and about half an inch width of just open flesh on my forehead. What's crazy is there happened to be an EMT in the crowd, and he had the foresight to make it backstage and get into the green room where I was, and he had a little kit with him, and he had some butterfly bandages, which is exactly what I needed because a normal Band-Aid wouldn't hold that skin together. So we cleaned it up, put some alcohol on it, and then he used those butterfly bandages on the top and the bottom to hold it down. And I hate going to the emergency room, mostly because it's so expensive, for no reason. They're just going to do a little work on you, give you a few pain pills, and then charge you $4,000, whatever they do. But everyone said, man, you got to go get stitches. So I kept those bandages on. I went back down to the merchandise table, did my meet and greet, autographs, met the people that wanted to hang out that night. So after about an hour, my brother and I headed to the emergency room, and they put in 8 stitches. The best part of the story is I didn't miss a show. I didn't even miss that show. I just had to leave a little bit earlier than I wanted to, and it gives a story to tell, and it was a really cool picture that I have on my phone. It probably scared a few people in the crowd. And ultimately, I learned a good lesson. And to this day, when I'm running on the stage, especially upstairs, I always look up and make sure there's no speakers hanging at forehead level. You know I do this podcast whether I had a sponsor or not. And maybe one day I will, but right now I have an unofficial official sponsor, and that's Yee Yee Energy. Now, the reason they're my sponsor is because it's my drink. Me and my brothers, Parker and Tyler, created this drink about 2 years ago, and I love it. We went through every recipe. We did all the taste testing to make it exactly like we wanted it. We did all the design, all the graphics, to make a drink that really represented us and our fans. Now, right now, we're in a lot of small businesses around the country. A lot of them are gun stores, outdoor shops, sporting goods stores, and a lot of them are family-run small businesses, which really helps support our American-made mentality, which you know we're all about that. So if somebody's selling Yee Yee Energy in your town, go help them out. Go help us out. Go to yeeyeenergy.com for more details. Back here at the Missouri State Fair, I just talked to Chris Lane, who's playing the show with us tonight. And I'm going to bring him on stage later, and guess what song we just talked about singing together? Oh, an old 90s classic by good old Sammy Kershaw.
She don't know she's beautiful. Never crossed her mind. She don't know she's beautiful. No, she's not that She don't know she's beautiful. Though time and time I've told her so.
So after the stitches in College Station, Texas injury, it took me less than a year before I was hurt again. This time was a lot worse. This time I actually had to miss some shows. Here's what happened. September 5th, 2013. I remember that day partly because it was the day after my birthday, and partly because it was one of the stupidest things I've done in my music career. We were in Illinois on tour, and we were parked before a show. My sound guy, Blake, was having girl problems at the time. And he was just he was in a bad mood. He was shuffling around. He was mumbling to himself. And that kind of thing is contagious. So I'm trying to lighten the mood. And I say, hey, Blake, if you don't get in a better mood quick, then I'm going to tie you up with tape and throw you in the trailer so no one has to deal with you. So he mumbles a few things under his breath. And I'm trying to be funny. And I storm off the bus. I go to the trailer. I get a big roll of tape. Start stringing it out and come back on the bus, and I'm, unwrapping this roll of tape, and Blake is mad. He's mad at me, and I'm laughing, and everyone else is there, the rest of the band, and so I'm, trying to get a few giggles, trying to get a few laughs, and I pull out this tape, and I'm going for him, and I'm going to start wrapping him up, and he slaps my hands down, jumps on my back. Now this dude's from East Texas, right? He's pretty scrappy. He jumps on my back and immediately puts me in a chokehold. Well, this goes from, this is really funny, to, oh shit, I'm not going to let this guy choke me out, because he's trying to choke me out. He wants me to pass out on the floor of the bus. And I'm thinking, hell no, he's not going to make me pass out in embarrassment in front of my band. So I'm fighting back, and I'm all coiled up. And so he has to squeeze tighter and tighter until finally I get him off of me and we go face to face, right? But when we go face to face at that time, I realized something really wrong happened to my throat. The way that he didn't have me in a headlock in his elbow.